The root cause of our anger, our suffering, is the root cause of life experience itself, and that is our consciousness. Our consciousness has a habit of focusing outside of us. It is always looking outward into the universe. It does not look within by nature, by habit. And so we are locked in these patterns of blaming external factors for our unhappiness. And we are missing the root cause of our frustration. And we are missing the one area we actually have power over to control, to shape, to change, and transform. And that is when we turn our focus inward and start to recognize how we create our experiences. Welcome to Path to Peace with Todd Perelmuter. I'm your host, Todd Perelmuter. Our world is a projection of our collective consciousness. The more peace we bring into our lives, the more peace we bring into this world. So let the transformation begin. If someone says something upsetting to us, if some event in our life doesn't go the way we want it to, the natural inclination is to fixate on that thing. Our point of view is outward facing, and we would be perfect. Our lives would be perfect if that thing just didn't happen or happened a different way. And we are outsourcing our happiness when we do this. We are diminishing our power for growth, change, and inner strength. And it is a natural byproduct of our habitual outward-facing awareness. You know, we have these 5 senses, and they perceive everything of the outside world. And we have to make a little effort to shift that awareness to our mind and to the feelings that we are feeling in our body. And it is not as intuitive as it is to look around and pay attention to what we're seeing with our eyes and hearing with our ears. But it's more important that we pay attention to what is going on within us, because it shapes how we experience everything in this world. It is rather interesting and funny even how if someone is going through their lives, nothing bothers them in the world. They're just happy all the time. They don't even pay any attention to what other people would consider as bad. You know, everything is a blessing and a miracle to these people. And maybe they don't have the perfect life, but they just have a positive outlook on life. Then it would actually appear to this person that nothing bad happens in their life, that everything is fantastic. And so whether this person has good karma or bad karma or good luck or bad luck or whatever you want to call it, to that person, they've got the best karma in the world. They've got the best luck in the world. Everything always works out for them. And this is the nature of the things that trigger us, the things that people say that hurt us. It has nothing to do with them or their words. It has everything to do with what we carry inside, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about the world and others. It is only when we have the ego, when we believe and identify with the ego, that we want to build up the ego. We want to build up this imaginary personality that has this imagined reputation, that has this perceived status and importance, that other people then can tear it down. The ego wants to be the best at everything, the best looking, the smartest, the most funny, the most talented. And that is exhausting to maintain, to convince ourselves, let alone convincing others. And it's especially damaging when someone else who, like most people with egos, feels better putting someone else down, that their unkind words can poke through that ego and shatter it, or worse, harden it, and we focus all of our truly insecurity, self-doubt, self-criticalness, and we turn it against them, and we point all of our anger and pain onto them, and we get angry, we get hateful, maybe we internalize it and we become sad and insecure. But there is never peace as long as we are building up these egos, these personas, these perfect personality traits we're crafting, always defending, and always reacting to whatever other people say, whether it is to their praise that builds us up even more, or to criticism and cruelty that threatens those walls we've carefully put up. The fact is, we cannot control other people's choices, their actions, what they do and say. And the only place we have this power is within us. So it becomes vitally important that we turn our attention inward and that we recognize the true source and cause of our painful response. And it is what we carry with us. It is the building of that ego. And when we stop trying so hard to build up that perfect ego, have that perfect image in everyone's mind, that we can actually be our true selves, our most confident selves, that is the person that people actually want to be around, that they respect, that doesn't take forced effort, so that we are at peace and relaxed, and that peaceful energy that people actually want to be around. And they can tell that it's not fake, it's not phony, it's not pretend, it is authentic, real, and deep, the kind of people that we all want to be around. When we are putting on a front, when we are building an ego and we're forcing authenticity, the exhaustion from that is going to make our phony piece about 1 inch deep. Very easy to disturb it. It's so exhausting. And when we're exhausted, we are irritable. We are quick to anger. And the only way to be truly relaxed is when we stop forcing effort, when we have an inner restful mind. And that takes looking inward, seeing what is going on within our mind at all times, and especially when we are triggered, especially when something unleashes our inner storm, whether it is an outward burst of anger, inner rage, sadness, insecurity, anxiety, stress, or hatred. Most of the time, when we get really upset and triggered, and someone is being very difficult with us, the mind starts screaming, how can people be so mean? How can people be so dumb? How can people be so careless? How can people be this way or that way? And it's always externally focused. It's always shifting the blame of our reaction to someone else or something else. And if we can shift that focus by simply changing up those questions to be inward facing, inward focusing, we can make progress. We can develop unshakable peace. If we start to ask ourselves questions like, why does that make me so angry? Why is that preventing me from being happy? These questions bring up something that is actually in our control. These questions invite introspection. They invite solutions. Whereas the questions, how can people be so mean, do not invite an answer. They do not suggest a solution. And they are not, because of that, really questions at all. They are simply expressions of our anger that will get us nowhere. And if we can turn them within, we can heal any trauma that we are holding on to that gets triggered. We all have heard mean words when we were young, growing up in those important formative years. And we can internalize those words for a lifetime, and they can ring around our head whenever someone triggers it. Anything negative that we've ever been through, abandonment, betrayal, mistreatment, unkindness, or bad luck, can be triggered in any situation that resembles the negative memory experience we had in the past. Our job is not to change everyone, to change the world, to make sure bad luck can never happen again, to make sure that everyone smiles at us all the time, to make sure everyone thinks of us first. It is to heal and let go of those things we hold on to that hold us back. And beyond any personal experience we've had, it is the habit of our outward awareness. With no awareness of what is happening within us, this one place that we actually have access to witness every thought and every emotion, we always have a habit of looking outward, paying no attention to our breath, to our thoughts, to what is going on within us. And simply the subtle shift of putting some attention back into ourselves can shift our perspective of totally seeing a situation from this limited perspective, from this limited point of view, where we just see grievance and insult and mistreatment, and we can start to see a bigger picture, which is a clearer picture. And we can pay attention to what in us got triggered, and we can even start to pay attention to what may have triggered the other person to say those things or to do those things. Everything happens for a reason. And even if we don't know what the reason is in regards to the other person, becoming aware that we don't know opens our minds broader than the narrow perspective of certainty and jumping to conclusions, and always jumping to the conclusion that this person's just mean, that this person did this deliberately to hurt me. And we can drop that entire story altogether, and we can just focus on what is going on my half of this conversation, on my half of this relationship. Theirs is really none of our business. It would be nice if everyone was kind, and in no way is our normal reaction to unkindness our fault. But we all have a mission and a goal, and it can't be to change the world, to change everybody, to eliminate all enemies. It has to be to eliminate the enemy within, the battlefield that we are actually able to stand ground on. It is to eradicate the enemy within that we have to live with at all times. And we don't fight it. We don't kill it. We transform it through love and through healing. We have neglected ourselves. We have ignored ourselves. And it's time to show ourselves the love we deserve. If we look really closely at any confrontation we have with someone where we just get incredibly angry, very hateful, we have that horrible reaction of just pain that either we unleash on them or we unleash on ourselves. At the core is a part of us we are ashamed of, we are not loving enough of, that we feel guilt over, that we have some insecurity over. And when we love our worst flaws, when we can look kindly upon our darkest fears, there is nothing within us any longer that can be triggered. We just have to face those fears. We have to look at those flaws, and we have to love them. We have to accept them. This isn't to say someone else did not do something wrong. It's not to say that unkindness should be tolerated. You can still deal with people however you feel to, with calm and clarity, with wisdom and strength. But we can only do that when we fully know what's really going on within ourselves. We can only do that when we stop blaming them for our feelings, stop focusing on factors outside of our control, and start to recognize where we are holding on to something that is harming us. We do not have to be perfect according to somebody else's standards. We have to recognize our perfection within us. We do not have to be afraid of looking dumb, because looking dumb means you are learning. We do not have to worry about being alone, because solitude is beautiful. We do not have to be afraid of people's unkindness, because the world is full of hurt people. We don't all have to be supermodels. We don't all have to have the biggest IQ. We can be exactly who we are and know that is enough. Every single one of us, no matter who we are, can be confident, can be stress-free, heal our trauma, love ourselves. We all deserve love and kindness, and there is no person more important for that to come from than ourselves. Everything else is just icing on the cake, a nice bonus. But our number one job is to give it to ourselves. Getting overly excited and an ego boost from people's praise is the opposite side of the coin to being crushed by people's criticism and blame. And to break free from that roller coaster, we must become the source of our own confidence. That can be steady and eternal. Appreciate other people's praise and compliments, but don't let it build and inflate that ego only to be popped later. The bigger the ego, the bigger the target. That's why we see so many people, celebrities, who have huge egos and seem very confident, and at the same time be unable to withstand any criticism or complaints. You are worthy of your time. You are worthy of your attention. So give it to yourself. Make sure you are loving yourself. Make sure you always feel that love, so strongly, so powerfully, so much so that no one else can ever make you feel a lack of it again. Thank you so much for listening to Path to Peace with Todd Perelmuter. I was just writing about this important topic that will be coming out in a new book by the end of this year that I'm very excited to release, that goes into all the things we need to know to get through all the things that every human will go through, that we need a little bit of ancient wisdom and help to get through. The ancients have been through it all, even though they didn't have iPhones. And this book puts all that wisdom that every human needs to have and deserves into one nice little book. So I'm excited to share that with you when it comes out. Thank you for listening again. Much love.
Is there more to this universe than science can show us? Is there anything mystical or miraculous in the remote corners of the earth that I could see with my own two eyes? My newest book, Aloneness to Oneness, is that journey of discovery. From the rebellious kid who rejected it all, to the adult searching for something deeper, to the person I am today. It is all of the stories, wisdom, lessons, insights, and inspirations I gained on this adventure, from the charlatans to watch out for, to the genuine teachings that can change your life. If you've ever questioned, doubted, or wondered about the meaning of it all, this book is for you.